First contact and betrayal. The endless void of deep space stretched before Captain Maya Rodriguez as she stood on the observation deck of the ESS Pathfinder. Earth's first true deep space vessel represented the pinnacle of human achievement, a monument to cooperation that had finally emerged after the climate wars of the 2080s. The ship's experimental quantum drive had performed flawlessly, carrying them farther from Earth than any human had ever ventured. "Captain, you should see this." Commander Jackson's voice crackled through her communicator. "Astronomical is picking up something unusual." Within minutes, Maya stood in the sensor bay, staring at readings that defied conventional explanation. The astronomical team had detected regular energy pulses emanating from a previously unremarkable star system, just 2 light-years from their position. "It's artificial, Captain," Dr. Eleni Stavros said, her eyes never leaving her displays. "The patterns are too precise, too regular to be natural phenomena." Maya felt a shiver run down her spine. After centuries of searching the cosmos for signs of intelligent life, humanity might finally have its answer. "Plot a course," she ordered. "Let's go say hello to the neighbors." When the Pathfinder dropped out of FTL travel at the edge of the system, the crew fell silent. Orbital structures surrounded the third planet, gleaming constructions that spoke of an advanced civilization. Before Maya could even order communications to broadcast a greeting, their sensors detected an approaching vessel. "They're hailing us." Lieutenant Commander Wee reported, surprise evident in his voice. "And Captain, they're using our own communication protocols." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the humanoid figure with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors like oil on water. Large, multifaceted eyes dominated a face that otherwise bore a striking resemblance to human features. "Greetings, travelers from Earth," the alien said in perfect English. "We are the Luminarans. We have been observing your broadcasts for many decades. We welcome you to the greater galactic community." First contact proceeded with remarkable smoothness. The Luminarans proved to be a peaceful, scientifically minded species who had developed interstellar travel centuries before humanity. They had been watching Earth's development with interest, intercepting our radio and television transmissions, learning our languages and cultures. "Why didn't you contact us sooner?" Maya asked Sentinel Orella, the Luminaran diplomatic liaison assigned to the Pathfinder. Orella's skin rippled with blue patterns, what Maya had come to recognize as their expression of thoughtfulness. "It is our way to allow species to discover the stars on their own terms. We believe the journey outward is as important as the destination." Over the next 6 months, relations between humans and Luminarans flourished. The Pathfinder was joined by 3 other Earth vessels, bringing scientists, diplomats, and traders eager to establish relations with humanity's first alien allies. The Luminarans shared technological advances that accelerated Earth's development by decades, while humans shared their art, music, and unique perspectives that fascinated the Luminarans. "Your species has something we have rarely encountered," Orella told Maya one evening as they shared a meal in the Pathfinder's mess hall. "You have an extraordinary resilience. Where most species would surrender to obstacles, humans adapt and overcome." Maya laughed. "We're just stubborn. It's not always a virtue." "Perhaps," Orella's skin flickered with gold. Amusement. "But in this galaxy, such determination may prove more valuable than you realize." Those words would prove prophetic sooner than either of them could have imagined. The attack came without warning. Maya was on the bridge when the Pathfinder sensors detected multiple unidentified vessels dropping out of FTL at the edge of the Luminaran system. "They're not responding to hails," Wei reported, fingers dancing across his console. "Luminaran Defense Command is ordering all vessels to fall back to defensive positions." Before Maya could respond, the view screen showed blinding flashes of light as the unknown vessels opened fire on the outermost Luminaran defensive platforms. The brutal efficiency of the attack left no doubt this was not a misunderstanding but a coordinated assault. "Captain, we're receiving an emergency transmission from the Luminaran High Council," Wei announced, his voice tight with tension. The face that appeared on screen belonged to High Sentinel Talon, the head of the Luminoran government. Behind him, Maya could see smoke and emergency lights. "Captain Rodriguez, what you are witnessing is an attack by the hegemony," Talon said, his skin pulsing with urgent red patterns. "They are an expansionist empire that believes in the supremacy of their species above all others. We have had encounters with them in the past, but never an assault of this magnitude. What can we do to help?" Maya asked immediately. "You must return to Earth," Talon replied firmly. "Warn your people. The hegemony considers new spacefaring species to be threats to be eliminated or subjugated. Once they discover your existence..." The transmission was interrupted by a violent explosion. When it resumed, Talon was clearly injured, his iridescent skin dulled with pain. "Take this," he said, transmitting a data packet to the Pathfinder. "Technical specifications that may help your world prepare. You must go. Now." Maya shook her head. "We won't abandon you. The Pathfinder has weapons. Your vessel's capabilities, while impressive for your technology level, cannot stand against hegemony warships," Talon insisted. "Please, Captain. Our alliance is young, but we consider humanity our friends. Do not let both our species fall in one day." Over the next 72 hours, Maya and the captains of the other Earth vessels were forced to watch in horror as the hegemony methodically dismantled the Luminoran defenses. The Pathfinder sensors recorded everything. The technological superiority of the hegemony ships, their tactics, and the devastating weapons they deployed. When the Luminoran capital city fell, Orella stood beside Maya on the bridge, her skin a pallid gray of mourning. "Why?" Maya asked, voice breaking as they watched the devastation unfold. "What could possibly justify this?" "The hegemony believes in genetic purity and supremacy," Orella explained. "They see other intelligent species as either potential servants or threats to be eliminated. They consider themselves the rightful rulers of the galaxy." A terrible communication was broadcast system-wide as the hegemony forces secured their victory. A harsh, reptilian face filled the screen, scales in metallic hues of gold and black, eyes like cold amber stones. "To the remnants of the Luminoran Confederation," the hegemony commander announced, "your resistance has ended. Your worlds are now property of the hegemony. Those who submit will be permitted to serve. Those who resist will be eradicated." The commander paused, his scaled face twisting into what might have been a smile. "We have detected vessels of unknown configuration in your system. Primitives, by the look of their technology. Know that sheltering new species without hegemony approval is a violation of galactic order. These newcomers will be dealt with accordingly once we have secured this system." Maya felt cold rage building within her as the transmission ended. She turned to find every human on the bridge staring at her, waiting for her decision. "Prepare to jump," she ordered. "We're returning to Earth." "Captain," Wei said quietly, "what about the Luminarans? The survivors?" Maya looked at Orella, who stood in dignified silence, her skin now a deep blue of sorrow. "We're coming back," Maya promised, her voice steel. "Earth needs to know what happened here. We need to prepare. And then we're coming back with everything we've got." As the Earth vessels prepared to depart, a final transmission came through from a hidden Luminoran outpost. It contained astronomical data on hegemony worlds, technical specifications of their vessels, and tactical assessments of their combat capabilities. The message attached was simple. "To our human friends, we entrust you with this knowledge. The hegemony believes you are primitive and no threat. This is their mistake. We have seen your history. We know what humans are capable of when defending those they consider allies. May the stars guide your return." The Pathfinder and her sister ships engaged their quantum drives, disappearing into FTL as behind them. The Luminoran homeworld burned. In the ship's tactical room, Maya gathered her officers. "We have approximately 14 months before the hegemony traces our jump trajectory and discovers Earth," she told them grimly. 14 months to prepare humanity for a war against an enemy with technology centuries beyond our own. Commander Jackson shook his head. We're outmatched in every category. Their weapons, their shields, their propulsion systems. We can't match them. Maya nodded, acknowledging the truth of his words. Then she smiled, a cold, determined expression that had nothing to do with humor. But they've never faced humans before, she said quietly, and they just hurt our friends. That was their first mistake. As the Pathfinder raced toward Earth, carrying news that would forever change humanity's place in the cosmos, Maya studied the Luminaran data on the hegemony. She made a silent promise to Aurelia and her people. The hegemony thought they were hunting primitive newcomers. They would learn, too late, that they had awakened a sleeping giant instead. Humanity unleashed. General Omar Khalid had seen many impossible things in his 40-year military career, but nothing compared to the transformation of Earth in the 14 months since the Pathfinder returned with news of the Luminaran genocide. Ancient rivalries and political squabbles had been set aside with unprecedented speed. The United Earth Defense Initiative had mobilized resources on a scale not seen since the climate wars. Every shipyard, laboratory, and manufacturing facility on the planet and lunar colonies worked around the clock, guided by the technical data the Luminarans had provided. They're coming, Captain Rodriguez said without preamble as she entered the strategy room deep beneath Geneva. Advanced scouts dropped out of FTL at the edge of the solar system 3 hours ago. The assembled military and civilian leaders of Earth exchanged grim looks. Despite their frantic preparations, everyone knew Earth's hastily retrofitted fleet was still technologically outmatched by the hegemony's warships. How many? Asked Dr. Eleni Stavros, now heading Earth's Xenotechnology division. 5 vessels, Maya replied. Preliminary analysis suggests they're following standard hegemony doctrine, a reconnaissance force to assess our capabilities before the main fleet arrives. General Khalid nodded. Then we proceed as planned. Operation Hornet's Nest is a go. Earth's defensive strategy was unorthodox, to say the least. Conventional military wisdom would have concentrated their forces to protect the homeworld. Instead, humanity had scattered their fleet throughout the solar system in small, mobile task forces. Mining installations and research stations had been converted into weapons platforms, while the asteroid belt concealed thousands of miniature automated drones. Let them come in close, Khalid ordered. Let them think we're exactly what they expect, a primitive species with limited space capabilities. The hegemony scouts progressed methodically through the solar system, scanning Earth's defenses with evident disdain. Their communications, intercepted and partially decoded thanks to the Luminaran data, revealed their contempt. Primitive projectile weapons and chemical propulsion on most of their vessels, the hegemony commander reported back to his fleet. They have attempted to adapt some energy-based systems, but the implementations are crude. This will be a simple subjugation. What the hegemony failed to understand was that humans had recognized they couldn't win a conventional space battle. Instead, they had prepared for asymmetric warfare on an unprecedented scale. The trap was sprung when the hegemony vessels approached Mars. What appeared to be an outgunned human defensive flotilla suddenly scattered, revealing a massive electromagnetic pulse weapon hidden in the shadow of Phobos. The device, powered by the combined output of 3 fusion reactors, discharged with blinding intensity. The hegemony vessels, their shields calibrated for energy weapons and projectiles, were momentarily disabled by the pulse. In that brief window of vulnerability, swarms of miniaturized drones emerged from hiding places throughout the asteroid belt, attaching themselves to the hulls of the alien ships. Hornet's Nest successful, reported Admiral Chen from the EFS's Retribution, Earth's first purpose-built war vessel. Deployment at 87% effectiveness. The hegemony ships quickly recovered, destroying dozens of the drones with point defense weapons. But it was too late. The remainder had already attached and begun cutting through their hulls using focused thermite charges, targeting locations identified in the Luminara tactical data. What followed was the first space infantry battle in human history. Earth's soldiers, equipped with exoskeletons and specialized weapons designed to function in zero-gravity environments, breached the hegemony vessels. The close-quarters combat negated much of the aliens' technological advantage. "We've captured the command vessel," came the report 6 hours later. 3 enemy ships destroyed, 1 severely damaged but escaping toward the outer system. "Let it go," Khalid ordered. "We want them to report back." The human infantry had secured not only the hegemony command ship, but also its database and several pieces of intact technology. Dr. Stavros' team immediately began reverse engineering the captured systems, focusing on the propulsion and weapons technology. "This changes everything," she told the War Council 3 days later. "Their technology is advanced, but not incomprehensible. More importantly, we now understand their tactical doctrines and how they're implemented in their command systems." The intelligence proved invaluable when, 2 weeks later, the main hegemony fleet arrived. 23 warships, including 3 massive dreadnoughts. The battle for Earth began in earnest as the hegemony fleet pushed into the inner solar system, clearly expecting an easy victory. What they encountered instead was warfare unlike anything their military doctrine had prepared them for. Humanity fought with desperate innovation. Retrofitted mining vessels sacrificed themselves in kamikaze runs against hegemony cruisers. Civilian spacecraft, converted to carry nuclear warheads, approached under the guise of refugees before detonating at close range. Space stations abandoned, and then rigged as enormous bombs lured in hegemony boarding parties before exploding. Each engagement was costly for the defenders, but the hegemony forces found themselves increasingly disoriented by human tactics that prioritized damage over survival. "They're fighting irrationally," the hegemony fleet commander reported to his superiors, his frustration evident even through the alien vocal patterns. "They sacrifice vessels and personnel without hesitation if it means damaging our ships. Their tactics had no coherence, no pattern we can exploit." But there was a pattern, one designed by General Khalid and Maya Rodriguez based on everything they had learned about hegemony psychology. The aliens valued order, hierarchy, and methodical progress. Human forces deliberately created chaos, attacking from unexpected vectors, using improvised weapons, and constantly changing tactics. Despite humanity's ingenuity, the technological gap proved difficult to overcome. 8 days into the battle, Earth's defensive lines were crumbling. Half the fleet had been destroyed, and the hegemony dreadnoughts were positioning for a final assault on Earth itself. That's when humanity revealed its final gambit. In the months of preparation, Dr. Stavros' team had created a computer virus specifically designed to infiltrate hegemony command systems based on the captured scout ship's technology. "The Trojan horse is ready," she informed General Khalid as they stood in the last functioning command center, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. "But we need to get it into their flagship's central systems." The mission fell to a small team led by Captain Rodriguez herself. Using a captured hegemony shuttle and the transponder codes extracted from the scout ship, they approached the massive dreadnought that served as the enemy flagship. "This is insanity," Commander Jackson muttered as their stolen shuttle approached the dreadnought's docking bay. "Even if we get aboard, we'll have maybe 20 minutes before they realize we're not returning scouts." Maya checked her weapon, a hybrid design combining Earth firearms with hegemony energy technology. 20 minutes is all we need." The infiltration team fought their way through the massive vessel, suffering heavy casualties as they pushed toward the central computer core. Of the 12 who began the mission, only Maya and 2 others reached the target. "Uploading now," technical specialist Diaz reported as she connected their device to the alien systems. 3 minutes to complete transfer. Enemy forces converged on their position, and Maya's remaining team members positioned themselves at the only entrance to the core. "Get that virus uploaded," Sergeant Wu said grimly as he prepared his last thermal grenades. "We'll give you the time you need. Wu and Diaz never made it off the dreadnought. Maya herself barely escaped, her shuttle breaking away from the massive vessel just as the virus took effect. Across the solar system, hegemony vessels suddenly lost coordination as their command and control systems were corrupted. Weapons targeted Allied ships, shields failed, and navigation systems sent vessels on collision courses with each other. Earth's remaining forces, despite their depleted numbers, seized the opportunity. Admiral Chen led the final assault, concentrating all remaining firepower on the flagship. For Earth, she transmitted system-wide as the combined human fleet engaged. For the Luminarans, the hegemony flagship, its systems compromised and its commander in disarray, broke apart under the concentrated assault. With the command vessel destroyed, the remaining hegemony ships attempted to retreat, but many were crippled by the virus spreading through their networked systems. 3 days later, the battle for Earth was over. Humanity had suffered catastrophic losses, nearly 70% of their space forces destroyed, millions dead from hegemony bombardments that had reached the planet's surface. But they had prevailed against an enemy that, by all logical assessments, should have crushed them without effort. In the aftermath, as Earth began the long process of rebuilding, the captured hegemony communication systems intercepted transmissions from the Empire's central command. The human system is to be quarantined, came the order from the hegemony high command. No further forces are to be committed to this sector until a full strategic reassessment is completed. Maya Rodriguez, now Admiral Rodriguez, stood in the observation lounge of the newly commissioned HFY Luminara, looking out at the stars. Beside her stood General Khalid and Dr. Stavros. "They'll be back," Khalid said quietly, "once they recover and analyze what happened here." Maya nodded. "And we'll be ready. The captured technology gives us a foundation to build upon. We've learned more in 14 months of desperation than we might have in decades of peaceful development. And we've made an impression on the wider galaxy," Dr. Stavros added. "The remaining Luminaran colonies have already reached out. Other species subjugated by the hegemony are watching what happened here with great interest." Maya turned away from the viewport, her expression resolute. "Then let's not keep them waiting. Earth is just one world. Humanity is coming for the stars now, and heaven help anyone who stands in our way." Aboard the hegemony command carrier retreating from the Sol system, Supreme Commander Kreshtak reviewed the battle recordings with growing unease. These humans had done the impossible, defeated a technologically superior force through sheer determination and adaptability. "They are dangerous," he reported to the Imperial Council, "not despite their primitive technology, but because of it. They think differently. They do not follow predictable patterns of behavior." The eldest council member leaned forward, compound eyes gleaming with concern. "Your assessment?" Kreshtak's scales shifted in the hegemony gesture of grave warning. "We made a critical error in attacking their allies. This species does not forget. They do not forgive. And now they know we exist." In the silence that followed, the unspoken reality hung heavy in the council chamber. The hegemony had not merely found another species to subjugate, they had awakened a dormant predator. And for the first time in centuries, the mighty hegemony felt something they had thought long forgotten: fear.